Okay. So, Taylor Todd asked, what single level in GoldenEye has the greatest lore? And in my opinion, it is Streets Agent 112. And this is the Streets 112 story. So, the world record, you know, dating back in early history was 116, 115, naturally happened. When the look-down strategy was discovered, you know, immediately look-down saves about 1 second per minute. So, you know, it dropped to 114. And 114 became a fairly common record. You know, not a very complicated level. You just got to strafe and, you know, not get, you know, get a decent ratio. So a lot of people had 114. Okay? So, that stood from about 2002, 2003 until probably it was summer of 2005 when Wouter Jansen achieved 113. And now, Wouter getting 113 was actually like pretty significant because he was a former champion. At this point, he had been surpassed by Brian Bosshart. So I think Wouter was ranked second at the time, still. I think it was Boss, Wouter, Servone. But yeah, like, you know, it was a guy, Wouter, who was like a little bit past his prime. But that summer he made a really good rush of really sweet untied world records. He got Depot 0050, Depot Secret Agent 43, Streets 113, and then of course Frigate 23. And these are records that stood for a long time. Now, one interesting thing about 113 was that it had actually broken the total time barrier, which is adding up every single time on all the 60 levels. It had taken that from 116.00 to 115.59. So, anytime an Untied World Records happens where we drop the total time of the game to the next minute below, that's considered very, very significant. And that's what Wouter's 113 did. I actually see now it dropped from 117.00 to 116.59. And it was in the 117s for nearly 2 years. So it was like a significant barrier to fall. Anyway, so Wouter got that 113 in 2005. And people are like, okay, this world record's done now. You gotta have perfect strafing. You gotta get the grenade launcher. You gotta have perfect boosts. 113 is it. No, like, this is a maxed level. Anyone who has 113 is gonna have it forever. And 113 stayed a very good world record. Some people consider it one of the best agent records at a time, like they often do with recently untied pure strafing levels, because there's not much going on. You just have to have a really, really, like, frame-perfect run. 2 years later, in March of 2007, I was the first person to tie 113, and it was always one of my proudest world records, even to this date. You know, getting that RWW'd pretty sweet. I think by this time, I might have been ranked third. I think I was ranked third. I'd passed Wouter, actually. But I was ranked third at 113. And then, you know, after I got it, a few more people started rolling in with 113. Boss got it later that year. And then in 2008, Clemens, Ace, Ilu, they got it as well. So a lot of the top players started to get the world record, started to become a more common record. And in 2008, I saw some of these 113s, and I was like, you know what? 112's possible. I know 112 is possible. And, you know, I'd been in the game for about 3 years at this point, and I always knew I was good at, like, predicting the future and, you know, telling what times could happen, what times couldn't. You'd always see, like, people post, oh, this is maxed, you know, This time is never going to be beaten. It's maxed. We used to make a lot of threads, actually, that were like, what are the ultimate maxes of the game? And you can probably find them on the Elite forums. A lot of them say Streets 113. But in 2008, I was like, no, 112 is possible. I'm going to go for it eventually. It's going to happen. So as time progressed, 2008, 2009, a lot of people, really, really disagreed with me. And the way the Elite community is, there's always some sort of, like, underlying theme or event that always gets brought up. And in 2008, 2009, Streets 112 was that theme. So on the forums, when people would be like, if there was ever a fight, people would be like, oh, you're an idiot, you think Streets 112 is possible. And I'd be like, you're an idiot, you don't think it's possible. And what happened in the spring of 2009 is, like, this is what makes it so crazy. Is that, for whatever reason, a bunch of fake accounts started showing up on the forums. One of them was called Nolan Bocom. One of them was called Streets 112. One of them was called Sniper Patrol. And these showed up shortly after I actually got a 114.09 in early 2009 without a grenade launcher. And I almost became the first person back then to get a 113 without a grenade launcher. And my reasoning was, if I got this low 114 with no grenade launcher, the grenade launcher gives you 6 more boosts. Added up, it's 112. And I was convinced of this. And people thought I was being so troll that they made these fake accounts. Nolan Bocom, Streets 112, Sniper Patrol. And started trolling the shit out of the forums. Making threads like, oh, Streets 112, lol, 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 lol. And, like, posting fake world records. Just being terrible. Okay? And then, in a response to this, actual leaders started making their own fake accounts. Like, Clemens made 2, called Trev Has RCP 90 and Orimov Society. And those are just great fake usernames. Like, hilarious. And it was the forums in spring 2009 were just a total troll fest of people trolling about Streets 112. Now, every year in the Elite, in the summertime, dating back to I think 2002, Endgamer would run a summer contest, which was basically, an NCAA basketball style single elimination bracket, 64 people. And every day would be someone's match. And it was just the Eliters going head-to-head. And, that's funny, I see Streets 112 show up in chat now. And it was a popularity contest. People would vote on who they wanted to advance. And we did this summer contest every year. And, Clemens and I did okay in it in 05, 06, 07, whatever. Because we were good players. And in 2009, everyone thought we were behind this Streets 112 nonsense. And we did terrible. We both got eliminated in, like, the second round of the summer contest. And was because of all the controversy. Now, it's 5 years later. To this date, we still do not know who Nolan Bocom is. We still don't know. We don't know who is responsible for the Streets 112 account. And I believe the admin of the Elite researched the board names and found that they went to IPs that weren't any Eliters. So, like, it was either someone good with the internet. 2009, it was kind of harder to, like, master IP and shit than it is today. I don't think Tor browser was around or whatever. So, like, it was some serious shit going on. Anyways, there was all this trolling, 2008, 2009. And, it got nowhere. Everyone hated Clemens and me for a while because of it, even though we were not behind these fake names, most of them. Life went on. In 2010, a TASer by the name of Datel237 shows up. And he's the one who discovered the 2.2 control style stuff. He's the one who discovered that by starting a level using 2.2 you start to level at full speed. And this saves 0.3 seconds. And he was unknown. He just shows up with this strat, you know? And it was pretty changing. There was a lot of controversy in the game whether it should be allowed or not. And, you know, on a level like Streets Agent, you just have to hold right strafe. And the second controller just holds strafe. You know, I explained this in detail at the AGQ 2014 run. So we immediately realized that you could use this to help you out on Streets Agent and, you know, a few other levels, but mostly it was just good for Streets Agent at the time. And I was like, okay, this saves another 0.3 seconds. This for sure means 112 is possible. I got a 114.09, no grenade launcher. This saves 0.3. Adding the grenade launcher, 112 is happening. And you know, a few people started to sort of believe it. But throughout 2010 and 2011, there was so much controversy again on the forums whether or not the 2.2 control style should be allowed. Because it's like, how do you know it's only one person playing? How do you know it's not two people playing? Isn't this sort of cheating, game-breaking, whatever? But eventually it was allowed. Okay? Part of the reason it was allowed was because really it saved 3 seconds on Depot. Secret and Double O Agent with the strats. You shoot out the screen and the big roller doors open. So that had a big impact. You know, we're like, you know, it's kind of worth learning to play with two controllers if you're going to save that much time. And I guess sort of acceptance gained and people started using the 2.2 control style. And you'll see if you look at the trend of world record holders, a lot of people got Streets 113 in 2010. Randy Bukima, Afan, Marc Rutzou, Taka, Jimmy, Cook, Lovins, Cliff Hampton, and Greg Wall all got 113 in 2010 using Control Style 2.2. So that was like significant. Now at this point, I'd sort of tapered off my GoldenEye career, 2010. 2010-11, I didn't really play much. But when I did play, I would play Streets Agent, and I would try to get 112. And I didn't even tell people I was playing, because I really, really wanted to get it. Everyone thinking I've kind of left the community and just show up and be like, boom, Streets 112's happened, I told you so. But unfortunately, it just, you know, it didn't happen that way. I just never ended up getting 112 in 2010 or 11. Or 12, even 2012. I probably played about 100 hours for it in there. And this is all, you know, I'm kind of on the outside of the community. I got, you know, dozens of 113s, dozens of 113s with no grenade launcher, a lot of really low ones. I got one that, according to the end decimal, was 113.02. So I came really, really, really close. I just never got it. And then one thing that started appearing in 2011, 2012 on the Elite forums was this idea of having incentives. So we'd have a thread on the forums and say, hey, if someone gets this world record, you know, I'll give you $50. If someone gets this sick untied, you know, I'll give them $50. Okay? And I guess in 2012, enough people offered money for Streets 112, it got up to like $180. And now Marc Rutzou at the time was like 20 years old. Very interesting character. He's never worked a job in his life. He's on like, you know, the government of Denmark handicap pay or something. So $180 is a lot of money to him. He's your ultimate degenerate speedrunner from Europe who just sits in his room speedrunning, or at least he was at the time. You know, he posted a video of an untied world record, one of his latest ones last year, 2 years ago, you know, he shows a tour of his apartment before he shows the world record. And he talks about how he hadn't washed his dishes in like a month and a half before filming this video. Like, he just shows a pile of dishes unwashed. He's like, yep, there it is. There's my unmade bed, you know. Just your typical basement dwelling, neckbeard, degenerate speedrunner, even though he doesn't have a fucking neckbeard, but whatever. So, $180, a lot of money to him. He knew it was up for grabs. He played for Streets 112. It took him about 80 hours. But in August 2012, he'd finally gotten the Streets 112. So, like, all this stuff had come together. Like, going back, Wouter got the time to break a significant barrier on the Elite, the total time. I said 112's possible. People trolled the forums about it. Marc came to the Elite. He's still the only top 10 player who's joined the Elite after 2006. And he came in 2009. 2012, $180, ton of money for him. Grinded away in his basement for 112. Got it. And 112, again, like I was saying with 113, it's considered like a frame perfect, really optimized record. One of the best. So it was a huge deal. And from August 2012 onwards, everyone was like, you know what, no one's going to tie this record. A lot of people felt bad for me because they knew how much time I put into it, how much I wanted to be the first one to get it. But everyone's like, you know what, Goose is busy streaming, building his stream. Who else is going to play for 112? No one's going to go for it. It's going to stay untied for a long time. It's a really sick record. Two of the top 5 players, or top 3 at their time, Goose and Marc, put in 100 hours. And in 200 hours of top players going for Streets 112, only one of them got it once. Like, it requires a big effort to get. Now, out of nowhere, December 2013, Ryan Lockwood turns on his game and is trying to get 113, not even the world record anymore, just to get a solid agent time. We all know what happened. Lockwood skipped 113, got 112, him and Marc Rutzou. And, like, you can hopefully understand now why that was so insane and why he was so pumped. Because this has been, like, 8 years in the making, this 112 story. And it was, like, Marc Rutzou's magnus opum, greatest world record, Streets 112, the most incredible thing ever done in the community. And Lockwood fluked it. He clutched the grenade launcher, shot him right in the fucking head, got the double. We all know what happened. And it was amazing. It was truly amazing, Lockwood getting that 112. And it just, like, adds to the lore. And then he went to HDQ. He went from... He would have been a nobody if he didn't get the 112 to being one of the coolest dudes there. And the story just progressed and grew. And then in January, after HDQ, I came back. I finally got my redemption, so to speak. It only took me about 10 hours after HDQ to get 112, but I'd played for like 100 hours beforehand, right? So, just like all those things, man, like that's the lore behind Streets 112. And I would say it's the GoldenEye level with the most lore behind it. A lot of them have a lot of lore, but like that's what the Elite community is all about. These stories and these grinds and, people really giving it their all to get these world records and these unexpected records. It's all about these heroes and these epic stories. And, Taylor Tot, there you go. You asked what the GoldenEye level with the most lore behind it is. And that's the lore for Streets Agent 112. I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, this was GoldenEye World Record lore with Goose. So there you go.